Hey Bandidos, today I bring you a shieldless SMG build with kill power and a layered system of protection to maximize your time out of cover. The resistance on this build is godly while maintaining an effective time to kill. Hit like if unique and effective builds are for you, and comment Invis Shield down below to support the channel.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my
I recently surveyed the community in a live stream and asked if sacrificing damage for the added survivability modifiers to enhance your ability to go shieldless out of cover is worth it. 79% said yes. So, today's SMG build delivers the survivability to maximize your time out of cover without a hard shield. But the majority of the player base spends most of their time clearing heroic control points, and going shieldless out of cover is not the easiest thing to do here. Heroic control points are more challenging than missions. For one, they are more dynamic and can be filled with surprised guests like rogues, elite convoys, and patrols. The ad spawns are randomized. There are 2 elite named boss encounters. And finally, the entire second wave is filled with elites. On average, 60% of the enemy encounters are elites, which are the hardest hitting, heaviest armored, and most difficult enemies you will encounter in the Division 2. And no matter how you skin it, just about every single build in the Division 2 is built for elite encounters. Whether it's a min-max build, balanced build, sniper, or tank build, the unit of measure we use to evaluate builds is how the build performs against elites. And today's build excels. So the other day I finally got my 6th 13% God rolled protection from elites mod. These are extremely rare mods, and when you combine all 6 on a build, you get 78% total protection from elites. The cap is 80%, so you're just about there. A PFE centric build can get away with about 50% and spend just as much time out of cover as you see me doing here with 78%. The difference is really just how you want to tailor the build to feel and perform. The closer you get your PFE to 80%, the more tankier you are going to feel without actually being a tank. And that's what's special about protection from elites and why I decided to maximize the stat for this build. Now, you're probably wondering if you need 13% protection from elite mods for this build or even at all. The answer is no. 12% protection from elite mods are easy to get, and 6 of those together get you to 72% protection, which is going to perform close to the same as 78%. Most can't tell the difference. In this last video, I gave you an extremely fast and high-powered SMG build. I invite you to check that one out too. But let's get into the details of this one. So of course this is an SMG build, and for the most part I ran the Dark Winter and I was pretty happy with it. Now for the mods, I have all crit damage mods, and that's because we have extra crit chance on the build. You don't have to go this way. You can put more crit chance on your gun and then respec out your build differently. You'll see here in a moment. But the Dark Winter is SMG damage, high crit chance, damage to targets out of cover is what I got there. So the talent is Perfect Killer. Killing an enemy with a critical hit grants 50% critical hit damage, which is a big spike, giving us more burst damage on a weapon that has 1200 RPMs, a mag size of 45. And so Perfect Killer is really nice in this build because that talent does last for 10 seconds and we are chain killing. Since we're spending so much time out of cover, basically all our time out of cover, it's really easy to maintain that. Now I do gotta say I did use a lot of different weapons and all of them work. This build is not tied to a single weapon. If you want to run to Lady Death and get that additional 20% movement speed as well as that amplified damage, feel free to do that here as well. The Cold Relations is a really good weapon. I was really torn between the Dark Winter and Cold Relations. Cold Relations is a lot slower, but it's got that very powerful strained talent that can get you up to 80% critical hit damage. And then another SMG that I really liked was actually the SIG MPX. It has 850 RPMs and a nice base weapon damage. I like to run this one with strained. At 850 RPMs, I feel like I'm getting a lot out of that. Also must say the Chameleon is a fantastic option at 900 RPMs, and those buffs for 50% more crit hit damage and 90% weapon weapon damage is going to make a big splash on this build. The reason why I didn't do that is because the Chameleon is actually an assault rifle, and I wanted to stay true to the SMG theme that we are on right now for this week's builds. The mask I decided to go with is Grupo. This gives us 15% more crit hit damage. We got weapon damage, more crits, and our first protection from elites mod. To get max protection from elites, you're going to want 3 pieces of improvised. If you're new to the game, you get improvised gear from the crafting station. So you go in here, go to your gloves, scroll down, and then you can craft improvised. Now for this build, you don't need crit chance on your improvised gloves. For this build, we do have crit chance, but you don't really need it. So what you're looking for is just crit damage and a weapon damage core. The power of improvised gear is that they give you that extra mod slot, which you can see I put on protection from elites. So these pieces are great on making a very flexible build or maximizing a particular stat. And in this case, which of course is protection from elites. Now you can also run armor. For me, I decided to go with 1.3 million armor. So if you get something that has crit damage and an armor core, you might want to hold on to that one too. Okay, the knees are basically the same thing, and just like I said, this one's got an armor core and crit damage. You don't need the crit chance, so if you just get whatever stat there, just roll with it for the time being. And I got another protection from elites mod, and you guessed it, here's a holster. Weapon damage, crit damage, got crit chance there, and again protection from elites mod. Because I had crit chance on these 3 pieces and I didn't feel like running anything else, I went ahead and took off my crit chance mods off my SMG and just rolled them to crit damage. So that gave me an extra 15% crit damage. If you're looking to be part of a strong, positive community, then I have you covered. Join Tux's Discord. We're not elitists, and we're so much more than just clans and raids. Tux's Discord continues to grow as the central hub for the player base that loves this game and wants to see it thrive. And if you love builds, this is the spot. Also, join Tux's Players Club to support the channel, the cause, while getting access to member perks and extra content like gaming music playlists. Click the join button below. This is the Memento backpack. It has a protection from elites mod on it. The power of the Memento is that it gives you 3 cores. So we have weapon damage, armor, and a skill tier, and we are absolutely using every single one of those things and the short-term and long-term buffs this backpack gives us. Real quick about protection from elites. Protection from elites on their own are worthless. They give you additional resistance, but all they are doing is delaying the inevitable. And the inevitable I'm talking about is using an armor kit. So for protection from elites, you need some other survivability, sustainability, or recovery to go with it. So protection from elites is more of like an enhancer. It has nothing to do really with armor, but where it does synergize and what we've synergized on this build is bonus armor. And that's why I decided to run 1.3 million in armor. You can get away with 1.1 million in armor, but remember we're shieldless. And so the more bonus armor we have, the more time we can spend out of cover. But the bonus armor is doing more than just providing a shield. It's also providing additional damage for us because of the chest talent. We'll get to that part in a minute. The short-term buffs, you get 5% weapon damage per red core, 10% bonus armor per blue core, 5% skill efficiency per skill tier. Now, sticking to the bonus armor topic, we got 3 blue cores. So that means when we get a kill, pick up 1 trophy, that's 30% bonus armor, which is going to be over 400,000 in bonus armor alone from a single trophy, and you can stack those, which is why you'll see our armor getting massive throughout the gameplay. Now, as far as the red cores, when we grab that trophy, we're going to get 20% weapon damage spikes. Now, that's on kill. Think about this for a second. When we get a kill, right, we get 50% crit hit damage spike there for 10 seconds, and we've grabbed that trophy, so we're also getting that 20% weapon damage spike for also 10 seconds. Very nice synergy there. And then of course we get 30% weapon damage when we have a full 30 stacks of the Memento trophies. And then we're gonna get 3% armor regen, which is our primary source of healing on this build. That doesn't sound like a lot, and it's really not a lot, but because we are running on bonus armor and because we have the added resistance from protection from elites, 3% armor regen is enough. And one of the synergies here is the bonus armor and protection from elites. When I run bonus armor, I love to run protection from elites. Protection from elites makes your bonus armor last longer because you're not absorbing as much damage from those pesky elites. Sometimes you hear people say, well, protection from elites isn't good because then you're just so weak against those non-elites. Non-elites are not an issue, and you're not any weaker against non-elites. You're the same against non-elites with or without protection from elites. And since they're so much easier to kill, they're really not an issue. It's always the elites that we're worried about. And we have the 30% skill efficiency. So I'm running the riot foam down here. So the 30% skill efficiency is really helping there. So this is kind of stops the enemies from doing their cartwheels. Also helps with big groups or spawn killing, and that's what I'm using it for. So we got one skill tier, and then we're gonna get 30% skill efficiency. That's gonna help the duration of that foam as well as minimize the cooldowns. And then I'm using the defenders, so the skill tier there is helping us get more damage reduction. And then we're gonna get more skill haste, so less cooldowns, as well as a longer duration on this thanks to that 30% skill efficiency. But take a quick look here, 26.5% damage reduction. Now that's gonna grow, so you know, because of the skill tier on our backpack and the skill efficiency. So that's gonna get bigger. But right off the bat, 26.5% damage reduction. Look, we have 78% protection from elites. So that defender drone is getting us near, not exactly 100%, but getting us near 100%. So it's reducing the damage we're taking that is outside that protection from elites. It's amazing. So we are almost immune against elites when we have that. And that's on top of our bonus armor. So the protection from elites and the defender drone are there to protect our bonus armor. Why am I interested in protecting our bonus armor? Because we want that bonus armor up as long as possible because of our chest piece talent, which is perfect intimidate. So while you have bonus armor, there you go, gain 1 stack each second up to a max of 8. Each stack increases weapon damage by 5%, so that's 40% to enemies within 10 meters. And we're playing inside, right? So all stacks are lost when you have no bonus armor. So that's why we want that bonus armor to stay. And all we got to do is get 1 kill every 10 seconds, which is pretty easy. And then we always have that bonus armor. It comes and goes and comes and goes. You don't ever really have to worry about it. You got a lot of damage coming in from different places on this build. And we got crit damage, crit chance, and some armor on this one. This is the Hunter Killer chest piece. It is golden and it gives us some status effects, which is helping a little bit on that riot foam. You don't have to use this particular chest piece if you don't have it. In case you're wondering, you get this chest piece by killing all the Warlords of New York hunters. And then you go to the base of operations in New York once you have all 8 of your off-white keys and open the cache, and you get this chest. And then every week, Cassie Mendoza sells a version of this chest, and that's how you upgrade it. It will never drop in the open world or a named item cache. If you don't have this chest piece, I recommend you run something like Sokolov or even a Cheska if you want to for more crit chance. So I'm running Gunner, and I'm really running Gunner because I want that extra 10% armor on kill to give me a little boost in heals as we're going. It also gives us the Banshee pulse, so if you don't want to run the Defender or the Riot Foam, consider using that for your status effect. Let's look at the stats. So we're at 58% crit chance, 135% base crit hit damage. The weapon I'm using, the Dark Winter, is going to give us another 50%, so that pushes you to 185% crit hit damage. And then we're going to have the 20% weapon damage bonus, short-term bonus for 10 seconds, plus the 30% weapon damage, and of course the 40% total weapon damage coming off of the chest piece. So when putting this one together, try different levels of armor and different weapons. Each weapon brings a little bit different value, and the cold relations is definitely one to try. The fact that it can take down 2 very high armored elites in a single mag is impressive. This is an extremely fast and high powered Lady Death SMG build.
Follow me.